Hello everyone and welcome back to Resin with me, and if you're new here, my name is Brandy, and in case you can't tell from my voice, I am feeling a little under the weather today, but I was just so excited to get this video up, so I didn't want to wait until I was feeling better, so my apologies for the sniffles and such. But today I wanted to do something a little different than my normal coasters. So you can see here that I have some clear acetate sheets, and the back is white. It's just a little like white paper so that you can see what you're doing. So I've got some washi tape in front of me. I've got many patterns that I ordered from the Washi Tape Shop. I think they are based out of China, so it did take a while for these to arrive. But they're very pretty. You can see there's so many different patterns, and I like that they all have this little metallic accents in them. Okay, so I'm just going through the washi tapes just to try to see which ones are going to work for today's project. While they are all beautiful, some of them I just think are not right for this project. So for example, I have some of the washi tapes were all in a collection for the Chinese New Year, such as this one, and that's why it does say Happy New Year. And while it's really pretty, I mean, that flower is gorgeous, it just wouldn't really work for something that you would wear year-round. And then, of course, this green one. Green is my favorite color, so this is probably my favorite pattern. It's so beautiful. You can see here that I just sort of I think I had like 14 total patterns. And so I just narrowed it down to my, I guess, favorites, the ones that I really wanted to use for this video, which I am making resin like cuffs or bangles. And so what I ended up doing, because I only have 5 molds, so I can only do 5 patterns at a time, I ended up just kind of unwrapping them and placing them flat so that I could see the whole pattern, because with each of the washi tapes, I want to say that the bangles are about maybe like 6.5 inches. So that's the most of the pattern that I can fit into one bangle. So I just wanted to unwrap these and see the whole pattern and see which ones I thought were going to be best for the bangles and kind of have like the best 6.5 inches of pattern. So that's just what I'm doing, is going and looking at each of these. I think like I had 8 that I really wanted to use. So maybe in another video I can go through some of the other patterns, but for now I'm just narrowing it down to my top 5. Alright, so now that I have my top 5 patterns picked out, I've got a yardstick, because apparently I cannot find a ruler anywhere, and this yardstick just barely fit in my working space. But I drew a 7-inch line on the acetate sheet because the bangles are roughly 6.5 inches, and so I wanted to have that little bit of wiggle room, so I'm cutting 7 inches of the pattern of the washi tape. And what I'm doing is just, like I said, the patterns on the washi tape are definitely longer than 7 inches. They do repeat, but one full pattern is maybe like a foot long, if not longer. So that's why I'm adjusting it. Like I place it flat until I have the whole pattern that I can see, and then I'm adjusting it on the acetate sheet so that I can see exactly of that, like, foot, for example, what 7 inches do I want to use for the bangle. So yeah, I'm really just trying to find like the prettiest 7 inches on each pattern and then cutting that out to use. So now that I've got all of the patterns cut out, I am just going to place the washi tape onto the acetate sheet. Each tape does come with a backing, so I'm just peeling that off first. And the reason that I'm using the acetate sheet is because it's gonna need that stability once I put it in the mold so that it doesn't like wrinkle or fold under the weight of the resin. So it gives it that stability while still being flexible. Since the bangles are gonna be round, I need something that's still gonna bend without breaking or cracking. And so the acetate sheet is perfect for that. And then I am just cutting out each individual pattern. Alright, I've got my molds pulled out. I've already got 4 of the acetate sheets put into the molds. This is the last one, so I wanted to show you what I was doing. I'm really just trimming it down so that it will fit into the mold perfectly. And one thing I did off camera, because I just didn't think about it, was I painted the back of the acetate white with white acrylic paint, and that's because the washi tape, since it's pretty thin, it is a little bit transparent if you kind of hold it up to the light, and I didn't want that since I'm putting clear resin. So yeah, I just painted the back white so that it's going to be opaque, and now I'm just going in and trimming the pattern until it's going to fit just into the mold. And so basically what you're trying to do is make sure that the sides reach the end of the mold. You don't want a big chunk of clear space at the end, but you can't also leave it too long, because what happens then is the front of the washi tape is going to be pressing up against the mold really tightly, and the resin either won't go in there or it's going to get pushed out whenever if you're pulling it back and letting the resin get in there, when you let go, it's immediately going to push that resin back out. So you don't want it too long, but you don't want it too short. So yeah, this is just me trying to find that right balance and trimming it until I do. And so our next step is going to be to go ahead and add our resin. And I think this part is going to give a better visualization of what I was describing earlier as far as getting the resin, in between the washi tape and the mold. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and start pouring. And once I get to the front of the mold, what would be considered like, I guess, the top of the bracelet, you'll see that I use a little popsicle stick to kind of push the washi tape back so that I can make sure I'm getting resin in between the mold and the washi tape. And so this is what I meant by saying, if it's too long, it's going to be pressed up really tightly against the mold, and it's either you're not really going to be able to get your resin in there, or if you can, it might be pushed back out once you let go. And then you're going to have like this weird texture on the front where it's not, covered with resin. So yeah, that's just what I meant, is to make sure that it's not too long so that it's not going to be pressed too tightly up against the front. But I will go ahead and just finish adding my resin to these. I'm not filling them up all the way to the top because I prefer to dome them outside of the mold. You can do it on the inside. I've just found that with these molds, they don't create the best dome if you fill them all the way up to the top. So yeah, I'm just trying to fill them up slightly below the top of the washi tape and stop, and then I will unmold and dome them later. Alright, and so now that the resin has set up, I took the bracelets out of the mold, but I did not record that part because y'all, these are so pretty. I wanted to wait until they were fully finished to show you the final product. But this is where I'm adding my dome coat. Like I said before, I didn't fill the molds up all the way to the top, and so that left some really sharp lips at the very edge, and so that's why I'm adding this extra little bit of resin, just to create that dome coat and to get rid of the sharp edges. And now for the big reveal. Look how beautiful these turned out. I am so happy. Now you can see I did fill this one up like a little bit extra. That's why there's that little bit of clear space at the top. That's okay. I'm okay with like a little bit of clear space. I just didn't want a ton. And this is one of the, I guess, shorter of the washi tapes. This one is, I think, 27 millimeters, and then the two purple ones are 30 millimeters. So that's why they don't really have that much white space, clear space, if any. But they're so pretty and I love them. I think they're actually really wearable pieces. Um, I mean, you for sure, if you were to wear something like this, it would be absolutely unique. No one else would have something like it. But yeah, I am just so, so happy with how these turned out. I think this red one ended up being my favorite just because it is truly like something that I could see any person wearing at like any season, any time. It's just they're all so beautiful. But I really do love all of them. I think they all turned out so great, and I hope that you like them too. But yeah, if you liked this video, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hopefully I can make another video with some of the other patterns, and then you can all let me know your favorites too. But yeah, I'm so happy with these, and I hope that you will come resin with me on my next video. Have a great day, y'all.